In the ever evolving journey of self discovery and personal growth, few books have left as lasting an impression as The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. This literary gem, which has stood the test of time, holds within its pages a treasure trove of insights and strategies for living a fulfilling and purpose driven life. Picture this, a life that's not just a series of random events but a strategic game where you are the main player. Shinn's book introduces us to a compelling perspective that life can indeed be approached as a game, one that can be mastered with the right mindset and skills. As we embark on this literary journey, we'll explore the rich tapestry of ideas that make this book an enduring source of inspiration. At its core, The Game of Life and How to Play It invites us to view our thoughts and beliefs as powerful tools that shape our reality. Shinn beautifully weaves together spiritual wisdom and practical techniques, demonstrating how our inner world directly influences our outer experiences. Whether it's overcoming challenges, attaining success, or finding happiness, the book underscores the importance of aligning our thoughts with our desired outcomes. One of the most intriguing aspects of Shinn's work is her emphasis on the law of attraction long before it became a mainstream concept. She illustrates how the energy we emit attracts similar energies back into our lives, echoing the age-old principle that like attracts like. By understanding and harnessing this law, we can consciously attract positive circumstances and opportunities while also deterring negative influences. In a world brimming with distractions and noise, the book's teachings serve as a gentle reminder to take control of our focus and intentions. Shinn presents anecdotes and affirmations that guide readers toward a more empowered mindset, encouraging us to let go of doubt and fear and instead embrace unwavering faith in our abilities. As we embark on this journey through the game of life and how to play it, we'll delve into chapters that explore topics such as the power of spoken words, the art of visualization, and the role of gratitude in shaping our destiny. By breaking down these key concepts, we'll uncover practical steps that can be seamlessly integrated into our daily routines. So, dear reader, whether you're new to the world of self-help literature or a seasoned traveler on the path of personal development, this book has something invaluable to offer. Join me in the pages ahead as we unlock the secrets to mastering the game of life and learn how to play it with grace, purpose, and an unwavering sense of possibility. Lesson 1: The Game. As you begin exploring Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life and How to Play It, get ready for a whole new way of looking at things. Shinn suggests that life isn't a tough fight but more like an exciting game. This game is tied to spiritual laws, and she draws wisdom from both old and new scriptures to show that it's all about giving and receiving. In this chapter, Shinn explains the idea of cause and effect. She shows how the energy you put out in your thoughts and actions comes back to you. This law shapes how things happen in your life, reminding you that what you give matters a lot in this big cosmic game. At the center of all this is your imagination, the pictures you create in your mind. Whether they are happy or not so happy, shape the world around you. If you focus on good stuff, you are on your way to mastering this game of life. Shinn also talks about different parts of your mind: the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. The subconscious is like your helper, doing what you tell it. The conscious mind listens to what's happening outside and tells the subconscious, which affects what you experience. The superconscious is like a vault of really good ideas and is the key to finding your true self. Your subconscious takes what you say seriously and makes it real. Whether you are complaining, joking, or affirming your subconscious takes it all as truth. So, choosing the right words is super important in this life game. Intuition is another useful thing that helps you in this game. Shin tells stories about people who followed their gut feeling and had amazing things happen. She shows how you can use faith, visualizations, and affirmations to make your dreams come true. This chapter is just the start of your adventure. It's like an invitation to jump into the dance of your thoughts, words, imagination, and what's deep in your mind. As you read more of The Game of Life, you'll learn how to use your inner power and work with the rules that guide how everything happens. Lesson 2: The Law of Prosperity. Now, as you dive into the second chapter of The Game of Life and how to play it, you are about to explore a really important idea with Florence Scovel Shinn. She's talking about something called the Law of Prosperity. It's all about how you can make good things come your way using the power of your words. Shinn tells us that God is like your source of good stuff, and you can bring what's rightfully yours by saying the right things. The key here is to truly believe in what you're saying. Shinn really wants you to know that words and thoughts have a big impact. They can shape what happens to you and even how you feel physically. She tells a story about a lady who was stuck with a big problem and no money to solve it. Shinn gave her some advice. Have faith like everything's already okay. And you know what? It worked. The woman's situation changed because she believed and acted like she already had the money. Shinn says it's smart to get ready for what you want even if you don't see it yet. She tells a story from the Bible about three kings who dug ditches even when it wasn't raining. They were getting ready for water before they needed it. There's also a story about a lady trying to find a place to live when there weren't many apartments. She bought new blankets to show she believed in getting her own place. And guess what? She got one. Following these rules isn't always easy. Doubts and fears can pop up, especially when you are trying new things. But you know what? Those feelings often come before something great happens. Even when things don't seem to work, you should keep believing in what you want and stay focused on your vision. Remember the story about the kids of Israel who were scared of giants? Shinn uses that story to remind you that even when things look tough, you need to stick to what you want. You have got to feel like you've already got it. She even says you should demand to see what you want, like health, love, or anything else, as if you've already got it. All the stories show how strong faith and belief can be. As you keep reading The Game of Life, Shinn is going to keep showing you that having faith and a clear picture of what you want is way more important than doubt and fear. So get ready to change your game and welcome in the good things. Lesson 3: The Power of the Word. Now, as you step into the third chapter of The Game of Life and how to play it, Florence Scovel Shinn takes you deep into the impact of the words we say and how they shape our lives. She brings up a quote from the Bible that says, "Your words can either justify or condemn you." That's some serious power right there. What you talk about reflects what's going on in your mind, creating the rules that guide your life. Shinn tells a story about two people who had very different experiences, all because of what they said. One kept missing his rides while the other always caught them. It turns out they had unknowingly created their own rules for success and failure with their words. Shinn compares this to believing in lucky charms. When you say things and really believe them, you kind of expect them to happen, right? There's another story about two businessmen who thought they owed their success to lucky monkeys. But when things went wrong, they realized they were depending on the monkeys instead of something bigger. By forgiving and letting go of their superstitions, things got better. Shin wants you to see that it's not about lucky charms but about something much stronger, believing in a higher power. Shin talks about facing fears and problems head on. When you're not scared, things tend to get better. She also says that invisible forces are always working based on what you're thinking. Then she introduces this idea of healing the soul to make your body better. It's about changing your thoughts and connecting with powerful ideas deep inside you. Diseases, according to Shin, can happen when you don't follow the law of love. She talks about a story where someone got better by loving and forgiving. She says if you criticize a lot, you might end up with problems like rheumatism. And guess what? Feelings like jealousy and hatred can cause health issues too. Shin believes your body is connected to your mind and feelings. To heal, you need to fix your thoughts and emotions. She talks about how your personality can be a challenge and how sending good vibes and blessings can help you and protect you from bad stuff. Shin shares a story where sending good wishes to a competitor actually helped her client in the end. So, as you read this chapter, remember that words are like magic spells that can change your life. Shin wants you to know that facing fears, loving, and saying positive things can heal you and make things better. Understanding how your thoughts, words, and feelings work together will help you take control and make your life amazing. Lesson 4: The Law of Non-Resistance. Now let's explore the fourth chapter of The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. In this chapter, Shinn introduces us to the powerful concept of non-resistance, the idea that by not resisting negative situations or thoughts, we can overcome them with good. It's like going with the flow instead of fighting against the current. Shinn begins by quoting the wisdom, "Resist not evil." She emphasizes that an absolutely non-resistant person is like water, the most powerful element. Water can wear away rocks and sweep everything in its path. Similarly, by not resisting, you become incredibly powerful. Jesus Christ's statement, "Resist not evil," reflects the truth that there's no real evil, just a belief in good and evil as separate powers. Shinn suggests that evil is a false law created by humans through misunderstandings. This misunderstanding happens when people believe in two powers instead of recognizing the one power, which is God. Shinn shares a story of Adam and Eve eating from Maya, the tree of illusion, leading them to see two powers instead of one. This duality gave rise to false laws like the concept of evil. She explains that our soul can become hypnotized by societal beliefs, resulting in situations that mirror our illusions. We learn that man's soul is his subconscious mind, and what he deeply feels is reflected in his experiences. Shinn explains that even children can attract illness due to their sensitivity to the thoughts of others. She gives the example of a woman who inadvertently attracted poverty by continuously fearing it. Shinn underscores that resisting or running from a situation will only make it persist. Instead, she introduces the idea of agreeing with your adversary quickly, meaning that accepting a situation as good and not resisting it can cause it to dissolve on its own. By agreeing with a negative situation, you neutralize its power. Shinn reveals that the key to non-resistance is spiritual understanding. She suggests that instead of focusing on changing others, we should change ourselves, which in turn changes our external circumstances. Shinn explains that non-resistance doesn't mean becoming a doormat, but rather maintaining a centered and wise approach that can't be easily swayed by negativity. The author shares a personal story where she impatiently waited for a phone call which gave her anxiety and resulted in a disconnected telephone. This highlights the pitfalls of self-management and the anxiety that results from not trusting the divine order. Shin stresses the importance of living in the present moment and blessing the past and the future. By doing so, we can detach from past regrets and future worries, allowing the flow of abundance into our lives. Shin provides a story of a woman struggling with finances during the holiday season. Her shift from dwelling on scarcity to buying Christmas seals and wrapping paper acted as a symbolic gesture of faith. This change of perspective resulted in a gift of several $100s, demonstrating how non resistance and faith can open the door to manifestation. Shin advises to start the day with affirmations like, "Your will be done this day," and suggests that affirmations should be personally satisfying. She emphasizes that it's each individual's divine right to have more than enough and to thrive. As you read this chapter, remember that non resistance is about embracing situations with a positive perspective and avoiding the struggle against them. By living in the present moment and aligning your thoughts with goodness, you can transform your experiences and create a life full of abundance and fulfillment. Lesson 5: The Law of Karma and the Law of Forgiveness. Now let's delve into the fifth chapter of The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. This chapter explores the profound concepts of the law of karma and the law of forgiveness. Shinn illustrates how these laws play a significant role in shaping our experiences and outcomes in life. Shinn begins by introducing the law of karma, often referred to as the law of cause and effect. This law suggests that what you give out, your thoughts, deeds, and words, returns to you with precise accuracy. The Sanskrit term for this is karma, meaning comeback. The principle, "whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap," perfectly encapsulates this law. An anecdote illustrates this law. A woman noticed a pattern where what she said to her aunt was echoed back to her by someone else. This quick return of karma shows how thoughts and words can quickly manifest in your life. The more conscious one becomes, the faster the return of karma. Shinn emphasizes that increased knowledge brings increased responsibility. A person who understands spiritual law but fails to apply it suffers the consequences. Shinn clarifies that fear of the Lord means fear of the law. When you fearlessly align with these laws, you gain wisdom and can avoid unnecessary suffering. Shinn addresses the idea of vengeance, stating that the law takes vengeance, not God. She emphasizes that God only sees perfection in man and that karmic laws play out due to human misunderstanding. The concept of sowing and reaping is illustrated with a story of a woman who received counterfeit money. Shinn shows that her own actions, giving someone fake money as a joke, were reflected back to her as a counterfeit bill. She highlights that what you put out into the world comes back to you. Shinn introduces the law of forgiveness, a cornerstone of Christianity. This law is rooted in Christ's teachings and is about releasing resentment, judgment, and negative emotions. Shinn explains that Christ redeems humanity from karmic law, and each person's Christ within can bring redemption from disharmony. Shinn offers an example of a mother who tries to stop her daughter from a risky trip. She advises the mother to let go of personal will and fear, instead entrusting the situation to infinite love and wisdom. By doing so, the daughter gives up the trip on her own and the situation dissolves. The principle of sowing and reaping extends to spending and giving. Shinn explains that hoarding and saving often lead to loss, while freely giving aligns with the law of increase. She tells stories of how spending money wisely, even intuitively, can bring unexpected abundance. Shinn reminds us that our desires must be aligned with divine patterns for harmony to prevail. She emphasizes that it's essential to be orderly and to live with gratitude, which increases one's connection to abundance. In essence, this chapter reveals that our thoughts, deeds, and words shape our reality, and that aligning with the law of forgiveness can free us from the cycles of karma. By understanding and applying these laws, we can transcend limitations, create positive experiences, and find ultimate freedom and abundance. Lesson 6, Casting the Burden, Impressing the Subconscious. Continuing our exploration of the game of life and how to play it by Florence Scovel Shinn, we now delve into the 6th chapter, which focuses on the concept of casting the burden. This chapter reveals an effective method for impressing the subconscious mind and bringing about positive changes. Scovel Shinn begins by highlighting the desire of individuals to find a quick and effective method to impress the subconscious mind with positive thoughts. She emphasizes that intellectual knowledge alone isn't enough to yield results. A deeper and more direct approach is required. Shinn introduces the concept of casting the burden, explaining that by doing so, one can free themselves from the weight of challenges. She likens this process to releasing the effects of gravitation, as if lifting a boulder high above the planet. Jesus Christ's statement, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light," is interpreted as a reflection of the ease that comes when one operates from a higher state of consciousness, transcending earthly limitations. Shinn draws parallels between the law of gravitation and the law of faith. Just as gravitation gives weight to objects, faith gives power to thoughts and beliefs. By tapping into the superconscious mind or the Christ within, one can lighten the burden of negative thoughts and conditions. The process of casting the burden involves trusting the superconscious to fight our battles and relieve us of adverse thoughts and conditions. Shinn references passages from the Bible that encourage casting burdens upon the Lord and trusting in divine intervention. Shinn provides practical examples of how casting the burden can lead to positive outcomes. For instance, a woman in need of money casts the burden of lack upon the Christ within, resulting in an avalanche of supply. Another woman used this practice to overcome resentment and change her life for the better. Shinn emphasizes the necessity of active faith in this process. She uses the metaphor of winding up a Victrola to explain how repeated affirmations and statements can wind up our consciousness with positive energy. The importance of seeing in the dark is highlighted by Shinn as she discusses the darkness before the dawn. This refers to the period of inner turmoil and doubt that often precedes a major breakthrough. She advises that casting the burden helps in maintaining clarity during this challenging phase. Shinn stresses that making believe and maintaining childlike faith are essential components of the process. Children's ability to make believe aligns with the creative power of the superconscious mind. The chapter includes instances where music and motion are used to impress the subconscious mind. Music, with its four-dimensional quality, and motion through dancing can enhance the impact of affirmations and statements. Shinn warns against despising small signs of progress, likening them to the signs Columbus saw before reaching America. These signs indicate progress, even if the full demonstration has not yet occurred. The chapter concludes with the reminder that fear must be eradicated from the subconscious. Fear is misdirected energy that should be transmuted into faith. Facing and walking toward fears disempowers them. In essence, the 6th chapter of the Game of Life and How to Play It teaches us how to release burdens, impress the subconscious with positive beliefs, and cultivate active faith to create the life we desire. By doing so, we can free ourselves from limitations and transform our reality. Lesson 7, Love. The 7th chapter of the Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn delves into the profound concept of love as a cosmic force that initiates individuals into higher realms of existence and spiritual understanding. The chapter begins by affirming that every person on earth is undergoing an initiation in love. Jesus Christ's commandment to love one another takes center stage, and the chapter introduces the idea that love is a cosmic phenomenon that unlocks the fourth dimensional world known as the world of the wondrous. Scoville Shin emphasizes that true love is selfless and devoid of fear. It's the act of pouring oneself out to the beloved without expecting anything in return. The joy of love lies in giving and creating happiness for others. Love is identified as the manifestation of God and the most powerful magnetic force in the universe. The author highlights that pure and unselfish love attracts its own without needing to seek or demand. However, most people misunderstand real love, often displaying selfishness, tyranny, or fear in their affections, which ultimately leads to losing what they cherish. Jealousy is identified as a major obstacle to love, as it breeds fear and resentment that can materialize into the feared outcomes. Shin illustrates this concept with an example of a woman who lost her lover due to jealousy and resentment. She advises the woman to transform her feelings into perfect, unselfish love, releasing any demands or negativity. The woman's transformation from resentment to love leads to the eventual reconciliation and marriage with her lover. The author delves into the teachings of an Indian brotherhood that salutes the divinity in everything. This practice demonstrates the importance of acknowledging the divine essence within each individual and living being, which in turn contributes to harmonious relationships. Scoville Shin argues that suffering isn't a necessary component of personal growth. It's often a result of violating spiritual laws. However, many people require suffering to awaken from their spiritual slumber. She advises that happiness can lead to selfishness, which triggers the law of karma, emphasizing the significance of appreciation. The chapter continues with an exploration of the relationship between love and money. The author asserts that love for money, combined with hoarding and saving, can lead to destruction. Money, as God in manifestation, requires circulation and right use, or else it can bring about disease and disaster. The chapter concludes with a powerful statement that all disease and unhappiness stem from violating the law of love. Love is presented as the antidote to negative thoughts and emotions, and its power lies in its ability to neutralize fear and resentment. Shin advocates for regaining the art of love, which aligns with spiritual laws and brings about harmony and well being. Lesson 8, Intuition, the Divine Guidance. Chapter 8 of Florence Scovel Shin's The Game of Life and How to Play It explores the power of intuition and the role it plays in manifesting one's desires and overcoming life's challenges. The chapter opens with the powerful biblical quote, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths," emphasizing the importance of acknowledging the divine presence in all aspects of life. Scoville Shin introduces the idea that through the spoken word, individuals set unseen forces into action, which can lead to the transformation of their bodies and the remolding of their circumstances. Choosing the right words is of utmost importance, and the author stresses that God is the ultimate supply, always ready to fulfill every demand. The spoken word is the key to releasing this divine supply. The chapter reminds us of the biblical teaching, "Ask and ye shall receive," but it also emphasizes that man must take the first step, drawing closer to God for divine guidance. The process of making a demonstration or manifesting one's desires is outlined as follows. Speak the word and then wait for a definite lead. Man's role is to demand this lead, seeking guidance from the infinite spirit. Intuition, often experienced as a hunch or gut feeling, will provide the answer. These answers can come from unexpected sources, such as chance remarks or passages in books. Scoville Shin shares a powerful example of a woman seeking financial abundance. She spoke words of affirmation, asking for immediate supply and requesting a definite lead. Intuitively, she received the idea to give a certain friend $100. This action led to a series of events that brought her a large sum of money, demonstrating the principle that giving opens the way for receiving. The practice of tithing, giving 1/10 of one's income, is encouraged as a means of increasing wealth. It is presented as an ancient Jewish custom that has been followed by many successful individuals. The 10th part sent forth returns multiplied. However, it is emphasized that these gifts should be given with love and cheerfulness to be effective. Scoville Shin discusses the power of will in aligning with the universal will. Man's will should be used to back God's will, understanding that God's will is to fulfill every righteous desire of the heart. Vision and action must work together to manifest one's desires, and faith often requires an effort of the will. The chapter also addresses the idea of looking for guidance on the psychic plane, cautioning against it as it can be a realm of mixed influences. Instead, the focus should be on holding the perfect vision without wavering. The chapter concludes with the notion that external disharmony is a reflection of mental disharmony. Every external situation has a corresponding mental state. Therefore, by changing one's consciousness, individuals can overcome challenges and create harmony in their lives. Lesson 9, Perfect Self-Expression or the Divine Design. Chapter 9 of The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn delves into the concept of perfect self-expression and the divine design of one's life. The chapter opens with the verse, "No wind can drive my bark astray nor change the tide of destiny," setting the stage for the idea that every person has a unique destiny, a perfect role to fulfill, and a divine plan for their life. Scovel Shinn emphasizes that this divine plan exists as a perfect idea in the mind of the divine, awaiting recognition by individuals. To manifest this plan, one must first visualize and recognize it in their mind's eye. The chapter stresses that man's highest demand should be for the divine design of their life to become evident. Even if a person isn't certain of what this design entails, they should ask Infinite Spirit to reveal it. This divine plan encompasses health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression, leading to perfect happiness. The chapter acknowledges that when individuals make this demand for the divine design to manifest, significant changes might occur in their lives as they move closer to their destined path. Perfect self-expression is described as a joyful endeavor, not laborious work. The author highlights that divine supply is readily available to support one's perfect self-expression when they have faith in their spoken word and in the divine source of supply. Scovel Shinn offers a compelling example of a man who, with just 7 cents to his name, gave 1 cent as a token of faith and asked her to speak the word for his prosperity. His trust in the power of the spoken word led to a successful job offer and an improved life situation. The chapter emphasizes that perfect self-expression can manifest in various forms, whether it's in the public domain or as a perfect wife, mother, or homemaker. What's important is recognizing one's unique talents and asking for guidance to express them perfectly. Individuals are encouraged to seek definite leads from the universe, trusting that they will be shown the way. Visualizing or forcing a mental picture is discouraged. Instead, flashes of inspiration should guide individuals to see themselves accomplishing great feats. The chapter advises against imposing career choices on children and suggests that spiritual truth should guide children's paths early on, fostering a harmonious life based on the divine design. Scoville Shin emphasizes the importance of overcoming fear, particularly stage fright, which can hinder one's ability to express their talents. Through spoken word or treatment, individuals can release their fears and become confident channels for infinite intelligence. A story is shared about a young boy who, after speaking the word for his school exams, excelled in subjects he believed he was weak in. The importance of not relying solely on one's personality but rather on the Father within is stressed. The chapter delves into how fear often blocks one's perfect self expression. The idea of walking up to the lion or facing one's fears is promoted as a means of overcoming them. The chapter underscores the importance of maintaining poise as it allows God power to flow through individuals. Anger is highlighted as a hindrance, causing blurred visions, poisoned blood, and wrong decisions. It's considered one of the deadly sins, along with fear and worry. Scoville Shin teaches that incompletion can delay one's demonstration. Affirming the completeness of one's desires in divine mind is advised. It is emphasized that whatever one demands is already a perfect idea in divine mind, and it must manifest. The concept of giving and receiving is discussed. Some people are cheerful givers but bad receivers, and they are encouraged to receive graciously. The importance of maintaining the perfect balance of giving and receiving is stressed. The chapter concludes with an explanation of why people are born with different circumstances. Reincarnation is presented as a means for the soul to learn and evolve. Birth and death are described as man-made laws, with the real spiritual self being birthless and deathless. Through the truth, man is set free from karmic laws, sin and death, allowing them to manifest their divine design. Lesson 10: Denials and Affirmations. Chapter 10 of The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn explores the power of words, denials, and affirmations and manifesting one's desires in alignment with the divine design. The chapter begins by highlighting the importance of precise wording in one's demands. It stresses that all the good destined for one's life is already established in the divine mind, and individuals must be careful to decree only the divine idea into manifestation. Idle or misinformed words can unintentionally bring failure or misfortune. To illustrate this, the chapter advises making demands for the divine selection of desired things, such as the right home, the right friend, or the right position. Additionally, it emphasizes the crucial importance of wording the demand for manifestations to occur under grace in a perfect way to avoid unintended consequences. The chapter underlines that one cannot release more than they believe is possible, as the subconscious mind operates within the boundaries of one's limited expectancies. Therefore, expanding expectancies is essential to receive more abundantly. Scoville Shin offers a story of a poor man who believed he possessed a gold nugget, and through feeling rich he became prosperous. This story illustrates how one's consciousness of wealth and opulence brings riches into their life. The concept of continual affirmation is introduced as a means to establish beliefs in the subconscious. The author suggests that if one had perfect faith, affirmations would be necessary only once. The emphasis is on giving thanks repeatedly for having already received. The chapter references the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose, to illustrate that rejoicing in one's current circumstances opens the way for manifestation. It highlights that prayer involves both commanding and demanding, as well as praising and giving thanks. The key is to believe that with God all things are possible. A real-life example demonstrates the power of the subconscious mind when directed with faith. A man felt suffocated and in desperation sought fresh air by breaking a window. However, he had unknowingly broken a glass bookcase. His belief in the presence of oxygen provided him with oxygen. The chapter emphasizes that once a student starts a demonstration, they should never turn back or waver. The temptation to compromise or give up is discouraged. Patience and persistence are vital to success. Scoville discusses the difference between visualizing and visioning, with visioning being a spiritual process guided by intuition and the superconscious mind. The importance of training the mind to receive flashes of inspiration and divine pictures is emphasized. The chapter stresses that God's plan for each person transcends the limitations of the reasoning mind and includes health, wealth, love, and perfect self expression. It encourages students to avoid forcing demonstrations through the reasoning mind but to act only on intuition and definite leads. A story of a student who needed $100 and discovered a new bill at the bottom of her safety deposit box illustrates how faith and putting a situation in God's hands can lead to miraculous manifestations. The chapter concludes by discussing the power of the name Jesus Christ, which stands for Truth Made Manifest. It raises individuals into the fourth dimension, freeing them from astral and psychic influences. The Christ within each person is described as their Redeemer and Salvation, representing their fourth dimensional self. Scoville urges individuals to make an art of thinking with masterful strokes of power and decision, painting divine designs upon the canvas of their mind. The rules for this game of life are fearless faith, non-resistance, and love. The book concludes with the hope that each reader may be freed from their limitations and bring the divine design of their life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression into manifestation, thus fulfilling their destiny.